I will never forget the look in his eyes that night, the way his fingers trembled as he unbuttoned his wedding attire, the heavy silence in that grand bedroom, the weight of what he had done pressing down on him like an unbearable burden. His name was Daniel, a young man barely in his 20s, born into hardship, raised by the cruel hands of poverty. He had spent his entire life fighting to survive, clawing his way through each day with nothing but sheer will. His parents had died when he was just a boy, leaving him with 2 younger siblings who depended on him for everything. There was never time for dreams, only struggle. I knew him. We had grown up in the same neighborhood, played in the dusty streets as children, shared the same hunger, the same desperation. But unlike me, Daniel had always held on to his dignity. He refused to steal, refused to beg. He worked hard, doing odd jobs, breaking his back under the scorching sun for mere pennies. But no matter how hard he tried, life never rewarded him. Then, one day, everything changed. He had been sitting outside the market, exhausted from another fruitless day of job hunting, when he overheard 2 men talking. They spoke in hushed tones, laughing in disbelief. "She wants a husband? At her age?" One of them scoffed. "And she's willing to pay for it," the other added. Daniel's ears perked up. They were talking about Madame Evelyn, the richest woman in town, a widow who lived alone in a grand mansion, feared and respected by all. She had spent her life building an empire, but in the end, she had no family, no one to share her wealth with. Now, she was looking for a husband, and she was willing to pay any man who agreed to marry her. The idea was ridiculous, absurd, even disgusting. But for someone like Daniel, it was also an opportunity. He had no stable job, no future. His siblings went to bed hungry most nights, and here was a way out. I saw the battle in his eyes when he told me about it. "I don't know what to do," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "It feels wrong, but I don't have any other choice. My siblings need food. They need a home. And I'm tired of suffering." I didn't know what to say. What could I say? The world had never been kind to us. Who was I to tell him to reject a chance at a better life? The next evening, he stood outside Madame Evelyn's mansion, staring at the enormous iron gates. His hands trembled, his heart pounded. And then, before he could change his mind, the gates opened. "She has been expecting you," the servant said, his expression unreadable. Daniel stepped inside. I didn't see him for days after that. Rumors spread quickly. Some said she had locked him away, training him like a pet. Others whispered that he had already run away. But then the wedding was announced. The town buzzed with gossip. People whispered behind his back, called him names: gold digger, disgrace, selling his soul for money. But none of them knew the truth. None of them had seen the hunger in his siblings' eyes. None of them had felt the cold nights he had endured. None of them understood what it meant to have no choice. The wedding was extravagant. Madame Evelyn had spared no expense. The hall was filled with guests dressed in the finest clothes, their eyes sharp with judgment. When Daniel walked down the aisle, his head was lowered, his jaw clenched, and when the priest asked if he took her as his wife, I saw the hesitation. It lasted only a second, but it was there. Then, in a voice that barely sounded like his own, he whispered, "I do." No one noticed the single tear that slipped down his cheek. That night, I found myself standing outside the mansion, staring up at the grand windows, wondering what he was feeling, wondering if he was regretting his decision, wondering if he would ever be the same again. Inside that cold, empty house, a young man had just traded his soul for survival. And I knew this was only the beginning. Days turned into weeks. Daniel moved into the mansion, but he was never seen outside its walls. The grand iron gates remained locked. And whenever I asked about him, the servants would only say, "Madame Evelyn does not wish to be disturbed." Then, one night, something strange happened. A candle burned in Daniel's window, flickering against the thick curtains, and then a shadow moved, a tall, slender figure pacing back and forth. My heart pounded as I stepped closer. I knew it was him, but something felt off. The next morning, the town was in an uproar. Whispers filled the air like a storm approaching. Madame Evelyn had fallen ill, some said. Others claimed she had been poisoned. The mansion was silent, the servants tense, and Daniel? He was nowhere to be seen. The rumors turned darker. "She's cursed," someone muttered. "Every man she touches disappears." I had to know the truth. That evening, I snuck past the gates. The mansion loomed over me, cold and lifeless. I crept through the side garden, past the marble fountain, and towards the back door. And that's when I heard it. A voice, low and desperate. I made a mistake. I made a terrible mistake. Daniel. I pressed my ear against the door. His voice shook. "I can't do this anymore. I don't care about the money. I don't care about anything. She's not who she says she is. She's hiding something. And if I don't leave now, I might not get another chance." My blood ran cold. And then the floor creaked behind me. I turned, heart pounding. Madame Evelyn stood there, her piercing eyes locked onto mine. "Curiosity is a dangerous thing," she murmured, "and you have seen too much." Daniel's voice rose in panic from inside. "Run! Get out of here now!" But it was too late. Hands grabbed me from behind, dragging me into the darkness. And in that moment, I realized the price of greed was far greater than poverty. Moral lesson: not all wealth comes without a price. Sometimes, what seems like an easy escape can become a trap. True happiness cannot be bought, and desperation can lead to dangerous choices. What do you think Daniel should have done? Would you have made the same decision in his place? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.